What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Realistic Rimmer. This is episode number 47, and we are on a roll. It feels good to finally be feeling confident about the team for once. It only took to January of this season for us to feel that way, but we're currently 6 games unbeaten, and 5 of those being wins. Sat in 13th in the league and looking to continue our push for the top half, whilst also progressing deep into the cup competitions. We're 90 minutes away from Wembley via the Carabao Cup. We just have to overcome Crystal Palace in the second leg after winning the first leg 3-2. And we're also in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Still early stages there, but I feel good after reaching the final of that competition last season. Well, after responding to a few players here, we will take on West Brom in our first game in the Baggies. Well, we're having some decent form. The Baggies are having an absolute stinker. They are winless after 21 games. Let me say that again. Winless after 21 games in the league. They're sat on 8 points. They have 8 draws and 13 defeats. They are on course to beat the famous Derby County 2007-2008 season when the Rams only tallied 11 points and 1 win that whole season. Could West Brom become the worst team the Premier League's ever seen? Let me know in the comments. Do you think they'll get a win this season? They've only got 17 more games to do it. They haven't got one in the first 21. Well, obviously I've built them up to be this terrible team so the Baggies would go 1-0 up. Jed Wallace scoring a goal where the ball bobbled around and it was just absolutely ridiculous how it just fell to him. It was just the scrappiest goal I've maybe ever seen. We would go 1-0 down, but Nico Williams would bag his first goal for the club. Really nice finish for the Spaniard as well. Sayankov into Awonyi. Awonyi picks up another assist. Lovely ball in behind to the winger, and he bags his first for Forest. And, I knew this game would be... Even though West Brom are struggling, we've touched on their struggles already, and it was only 2 weeks ago we battered them 5-1 at home. I still thought this was going to not be a walk in the park. Yes, a game we should be winning, especially with the form we're on, but not a walk in the park. And just before half time, Henderson would have to make a couple of big saves. The host, I'll tell you what, the host, fair play to them. They may have not won this season in 21 games, but they have played, they've not given up. They've been playing really well and they've pushed us massively in this game, forcing Dean into a good few saves. They dominated possession in periods, but with just 5 minutes to go before the half, Brereton Diaz would go through 1-on-1 and then would square it to Taiwo, who would add a goal to his assist. The second half would be very quiet. In the 85th minute, West Brom had actually a pretty good chance to equalise and snatch what would just be their 9th point of the season, but Dean came up with a pretty comfortable save in the end, and that would secure it. 22 games now winless for the Baggies. It was a tight one. We had to come from behind and we only won by 1 goal, but we do get the 3 points as well to make it 7 unbeaten now in all competitions. 6 wins out of 7 as well, going very strongly. And we needed a run like this, I'll tell you, because we have been struggling, especially in the league. In the cup competitions and the Champions League, we've actually been doing really well, but in the league, we have been struggling. So it's nice to finally find some form. We reject a bid from Bayer Leverkusen for Bela Kotchap. Not the first time a Leverkusen have bid for one of our players, but I know Bela Kotchap doesn't get too much game time. He's definitely a rotation player. It does annoy me a little bit because I think he has got a lot of potential, and I think if he was starting most games, he would grow a lot. But I'm not going to drop my Captain Maguire, and I quite like Niakate in there as well. So potentially, maybe next season, Bela Kotchap might get some more game time, but I definitely want to hold on to him. And then talking about rejecting offers, Villarreal, the latest club to come in for a big one for Taiwo Awonyi, our now 85 rated striker. He is hot in form, but we say no. We will be holding on to our top players. If we don't reach the Champions League this season, maybe we will have to start listening to offers, but for now, we are holding on to him. As we head into our second game of the episode, it's Liverpool, 3rd place Liverpool, flying right now. They have the league's top scorer, Mo Salah, who just loves playing against us. I think he has, I want to say 6 or 7 goals in the 5 meetings in this career against us. Also, in those 5 meetings, we have just picked up 1 point. 1 draw, 4 defeats. I hate playing Liverpool. They are just the one team I cannot stand because I just get battered every game. They've scored at least 3 goals in every single one of those games. And, well, in my head, I was like, right, let's just try and keep them quiet for as long as possible. It only took 7 minutes. Fabinho bags his first goal of the season, and the Brazilian has given Liverpool a 1-0 lead. So I could have that a good chance a couple of minutes later, actually, forced Alisson into a really good save. And then Brereton Diaz had a gilt-edged chance 35 minutes in, dragging his shot wide. Alexander Isak was fit and back available for the team, but Brereton Diaz has been playing really well recently, and he's definitely earned that spot. So I definitely felt like he had earned that place to start against Liverpool ahead of Isak. Seeing that miss, maybe maybe I should have changed that opinion, but we would be punished. That Brereton Diaz miss was costly. Just a couple minutes later, Liverpool go down the other end, and Luis Diaz with a delicious dink over the onrushing Dean Henderson. And once again, Liverpool find themselves 2-0 up in this fixture. 10 minutes into the second half, Goretzka had a nice chance, but Henderson comes up with a save just to keep us in this game, just about. But Diaz would get his second and Liverpool's third of the game just a few minutes later. A nice pass from Jota. I mean, at least Mo Salah's not scoring against us. That's some sort of positive, I guess. But once again, for the 6th game in this career, we have conceded 3 goals against Liverpool. It's just a horrible trend. I'll tell you what, we get a consolation goal here from Taiwo, who is chasing that golden boot as well. He's up to 15 now, 1 behind Mo Salah. I just cannot handle Liverpool's high press. I need to learn how to play against high press. I think the key is to have speedy forwards so you can just sort of go long, because that high press is just horrible. Could not overcome it at all, and they suffocated us, and we would get 2 consolation goals. One in the 85th, and Ndombele would get only his 3rd league goal of the season, and all 3 coming against Merseyside clubs. He scored home and away against Everton, and now against Liverpool. So it gives us a bit of credit, a bit of respect on the scoreline, but realistically, the scoreline was not realistic. Liverpool, a 3-0 scoreline would have been fair. Liverpool battered us that game, and we just got a couple of late goals, which is weird because normally it's the other way around. Like if I batter a team and they just get like 2 chances and score, it doesn't look like I've done well, but it was the other way around this time. We rejected a couple of offers. Bruges came in for Dean Henderson, interesting one there. We rejected that. Leeds came in for Brereton Diaz. They offered us Politano plus 4.1 million. We say no to that. Brereton Diaz, I love this guy actually. He is class. He's such a good backup, and well, Isaac's been out for a couple of months. He's been filling in that spot, starting most games. Been really, really happy with Brereton Diaz. I'm a big fan of his. When we sold Emmanuel Dennis, I thought it was going to be hard to replace him because he did well off the bench. Brereton Diaz has done that tenfold. We put Omar Fernandez up for sale just because the winger's never going to get played, and his contract's running up soon as well, so I wanted to try and make some money from him. And we also gave Jack Butland a contract extension. You remember in the, I think it was that episode 45 or 46, we gave a few players whose contracts were expiring in the summer some new contracts. Butland I held off on because I wasn't sure who I wanted my backup keeper to be, but he's impressed me recently, Butland. Yeah. Commentator's curse, huh? We give Butland a new contract, and he has a blunder there. I'll get into it in a sec. Butland's been impressed me recently. He's been playing quite a lot because we've been playing quite a lot of cup competitions, and I've been quite happy with him. I think he's a decent backup. He's gone up to a 73 rated, so I thought, you know what, let's give Jack another year, and I've been quite happy with how he's been doing. We head into this game, Fulham, 5th round of the FA Cup. We knocked out Marco Silva's club in this competition last season. We thumped them 6-0 at Craven Cottage. That scoreline would not be repeated as Fulham would take a very early lead. Jack Butland perhaps could have done better. Now he's got that new contract. He might be putting his feet up. Maybe he was just playing for that contract. We see that happen so many times in sports. We would equalise though through Anderson Talisca. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We attacked down the left flank 3 times before being successful, and Brennan Johnson saw a couple of headers denied close range by the Fulham keeper. The 3rd effort from Talisca would go in. Fulham would retake the lead, but then we would score this beauty of a goal, by the way. Steph Peters, the substitute, reads the play really well, plays it up to Brennan Johnson, whose little header off to Brereton Diaz is perfect. And the half volley from the Chilean, we were just singing his praises after rejecting a bid from Leeds for him. He fires into the top corner and puts puts us back level at Desmond 2-2. And then just a couple minutes later, the Chilean would fire just wide before bagging his second of the game. Lovely play from Tanguy Ndombele, who, again, is another player I've been quite impressed with. You know, he doesn't get too much game time. He comes off the bench a lot, but he has been quite decent, actually. I'm quite happy with Tanguy as a backup midfielder. And with with us going far in the club competitions, it also allows us to rotate a lot. So for those players who I've promised first team football, they are kind of getting that promise without being my first choice, if that makes sense. Anyway, we win the game narrowly 3-2, having to come from behind twice, but we get the win over the Cottagers. Second time in 2 seasons we've knocked them out of the FA Cup, and we are through to the 6th round. As we say to Omar Fernandez, yeah, look, you're going to be moving on elsewhere. We're not expecting to give you any game time. But that'll be it for today's episode. As you see there, we are looking at the semi-final lineup for the Carabao Cup. That game will be the first match you'll see in episode 48 as we look to secure our place at Wembley. They haven't released the draw for the next round of the FA Cup yet. That's why I'm not showing you that, because it's just replayed at the moment. But you will find out our opponents for the FA Cup 5th round in the next episode. Anyway, if you're enjoying this series, drop it a like. We're close to that episode 50 mark, which will be a special as well. Drop a sub if you haven't already. We are close to 250, which is our next goal. And I'll catch you in episode 48 very soon.